Hello and welcome everybody. This is Ted Young and I'm happy to host the next edition of our Rapattoni Magic webinars. Today we're going to be talking about ListMaker, one of the least used and underutilized features of Rapattoni Magic. And today we're going to be talking about an aspect of it, an advanced application of its use that many or perhaps all of you have never considered. And we're really looking forward to doing that. And today I am joined by Diane Clem.
Hello, everyone.
And Frank Rittersdorf.
Hello.
And we are talking to you from our, give us a moment. Sometimes we have our, there we go. Is that going to get us our, there we go. All right. We are joining you from our multimedia studio in Simi Valley. That's Frank on the right, Diane next to him, I'm in the middle. And then Mark Boatman and Sabrina Freilich help with the webinars as well.
Another point we'd like to make is that the version that we will use in this presentation will always be the newest version. In this case, it's 9.28.13. If you have not upgraded to the latest and greatest, make sure you give our support a call. We will schedule for a free upgrade. And you may see a little bit of a difference if you're not on the newest version.
That's right. And just a brief overview of what we've covered so far. Last month we covered the basics in ListMaker, setting up categories and codes for lists and using them in Magic. After that, a couple of weeks ago, we went over utilizing merge to create lists and managing lists through IMS. And today, we're going to take a look at an advanced use of ListMaker, our super sophisticated search.
I like the alliteration of that.
Nice.
Let's talk about today. Today we're going to cover the review of the basic setup of ListMaker, as well as how to import a large number of members on a list using the merge. And then we're going to get to the main topic, which is the advanced search feature in ListMaker. And we're going to do the setup. Then we're going to add members to the list using the merge. Then we're going to combine those lists and be able to take a look at that output, like using ListMaker report.
All right, so let's review. We are going to add members to a list using the merge. We're going to return to our best illustration ever, which is our membership bucket. And we're going to use a little different example today. We're going to pull together a list of members who we want to reach with an email newsletter. So we would create a category in ListMaker called News and a code called eNews. We would run a membership merge and pull together all members we would want to reach with that newsletter. Now, if we would like to, by using the date field in ListMaker, we can record whether or not a member has chosen to opt out of receiving the newsletter, so we know which members do not want to have it anymore, which ones are still receiving it. We can record it by using reports in Magic through ListMaker.
That's right. And as a reminder, what this does is effectively give you the ability to add your own fields to the database that you can track any way you want. But in addition, there is another use of these lists that are created via the merge. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today.
So let's talk about some advanced search scenarios that you might come across. First, you have your EO walking in, very demanding, saying, I need a list of the members on the board of directors who are late with their dues.
Oh, hang on a second. I mean, that's a great question, but I mean, you got two different things there. A list of the board of directors. I've got no problem figuring out what that is. And people who are late with their dues, I can figure out what that is. But you're putting both together. I mean, that's a whole bunch of manual work. I mean, is there some other example you can think of?
Actually, yes. What if the education director walks in and says, which recipients of the $1 Million Club Award are teaching courses on sales strategies?
And assuming he's got some sort of upper-class strange accent. Again, you're asking for two different things. I can figure out who's done the $1 Million Club, and I can also figure out who's teaching classes, but I don't know how I can find both. This is
well, we
my
also
head spin.
Well,
Who's
we haven't
this
got
guy?
to the GAD yet. The
Okay,
GAD
the
likes
Government Affairs Director. Okay.
Exactly. Who has a GRI designation and did not make a contribution this year?
Okay. Once again, he's a supercilious GAD. Not that any of those really exist, but again, two different things. I can figure out who did one and who did the other, but I would think I'm going to have to create two separate lists and do a bunch of ticking in time to get it together.
But with ListMaker, you don't. So how can we find this data efficiently? And that's what we're going to cover. So let's take, for instance, the GAD's question that he has. who has a GRI designation and did not contribute to RPAC this year. So let's think, how would we work this? How would we start this process? Well, the first thing you probably want to do is use a designation merge and pull a designation using who, or finding who has a GRI designation. Then you would do a separate merge from a separate module, and we would use a non-contributor merge to find out who did not contribute to RPAC this year. Then, using a list maker merge, you actually can answer the question that the GAD is asking. Who has a GRI designation and did not contribute to RPAC this year? And this would all be on one report. So, Ted,
So essentially, I'm taking two separate processes. I'm using the search feature of the merge, allowing it to combine a temporary sort of a result set in a list, and then later combining the two and just finding those records that are common to both.
Exactly.
All right, you got to show me this.
That's right.
I'm skeptical.
Here's our next step then. We're going to show you the mechanics of how that works in Magic. So the process for advanced searches using ListMaker. First step, you're going to set up your categories and your codes for temporary or temp lists.
Temporary lists? What are you talking about, Diane?
Common question here. Temporary lists are going to be the two lists you create to pull the separate sets of data, being the GRI designation through your designation merge and the non-contributors through your non-contributor merge. Those are going to be separate lists we're going to pull together into one using ListMaker.
So we just keep them around temporarily, and when we're done, throw them away.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Next, we're going to add members to the list using their different merge from different modules in Magic. Then we're going to combine those two lists using ListMaker merge and view our results using one of the reports in the ListMaker program.
So let's further illustrate this concept by looking at an episode of My Three Lists.
For those of you who still remember who Fred McMurray is. Okay, Frank?
Merging lists across modules. So first, we're going to use the designations merge to create a list of your GRIs. And as you can see, we're using the temporary category temp, and in this case, we're using temporary code GRI. Next, we said we are going to do using non-contributor merge to create a list of members who haven't contributed. And we're again using the temporary category temp, and we created a temporary code called NCON, or NCON. The next step would be using the list maker merge to create a GRN list by combining the two previous lists. Now again, the new code, GRN, is something that we decided to create. You can choose any code you would like.
Oh, now, Frank, so tell us again what you're going to do with those original lists. What's going to happen with those?
We are going to discard them like an old girlfriend or boyfriend when you're all done.
Oh, it's not supposed to happen.
Use them, abuse them,
Strike
and let them
that last
go.
Remark. No, these are just lists. They're paper. No feelings are hurt. Nobody's damaged.
Nobody was injured
They
in
were
the
temporary. We
process.
created them for a purpose, and when we're done, to avoid clutter, we toss them.
Exactly.
All right, so now we're going to go through the steps to take. First step being we're going to create a temporary category we're going to call temp, and we're going to create 3 codes in that category. Number 1 we're going to call GRI for the designations. Number 2 we're going to call NCON for non-contributors. And the third code within that temp category we're going to call GRN, which will be the combination of our non-contributors with a GRI designation.
That's right, and just to repeat, these codes can be anything you want, but obviously with any code you want to make it something that's easy to remember, make the description easy to remember. In case somebody else comes across these lists while you're in the middle of it, they'll know what they're for.
Now let's take a look how we do that in Magic.
Okay, so first we're going to go to Manager, Membership, Member List Maker, and List Category and Code Setup. In the Categories area, we're going to create our temp category. You can go into Modify mode, use F4, and create your temp category. And call it temporary.
It's tough to do this stuff real time.
That's right.
The whole world is watching
The
Frank's
beauty of
lesson.
live, that's right. Now we're going to create our 3 codes within that category. So we're going to create our GRI code. And next we're going to go ahead and use F4 or our down arrow and create our NCON code. And finally, we're going to create our code, which is GRN, for members who are GRI designated who have not contributed in 2011. And this is your basic setup. So when you run these merges, you can populate these lists, these list codes, with the members that you are able to pull there.
So I will escape, and they will be saved.
That's right.
Let's go to the next step, Diane.
Okay. Step 2, we're going to run a designation merge for GRIs, and we're going to add members to that category temp code GRI by using the merge.
Okay. Going to go to merge.
So merge, membership, designations merge, and we're going to select the GRI designation for any active member of the association. Click on Continue. Choose Preferred Media. Move down to add the selected members to the following lists. Type in our temp category, our GRI code, and set members to active on the list. And when we click on Continue, we're going to create a merge file, but it will also populate our list with these 31 members. So we can go back and take a look at that.
And for those of you who may not have been with us last week, this is one of the steps we covered, that you can use merges to automatically populate a list anytime you want.
That's right. All right, so our second step, we're going to run a non-contributor merge and add members to our category temp, code, and CON. Moving back to Magic, we're going to go merge, contributions, non-contributor merge, and we're going to look for members who have not made a contribution in the year 2011. That's the only criteria we're going to use. Click on Continue, Preferred Media, add selected members to the list, category temp, code NCON, set members active on the list, and Continue. And now again, we're going to create the merge file, and we're going to populate that list with 143 members.
Now, how can they believe us, Diane?
I think we'll have to show them. Make sure that this really happens.
So we can go to Membership, Member List Maker, List Form by List. Pull up the category. We're looking at the GRI code, and below is the populated members in our list. Same thing with NCON, our populated members with our list.
Great. So we've got two separate lists of the GRIs and the people who didn't contribute. But so what? I'm still going to have to print out both and compare them.
And that's where the magic comes in.
Oh, okay.
The next step is to run that list maker merge for the category temp and the two different codes, GRI and NCON. And you want to make sure you add those members belonging to both lists only. And then from there, we're going to add to list option, and we're going to use the category temp and code GRN. Now, real point we want to kind of yell at you for a second is you must check the box labeled members must belong to every list code selected.
Yes, and this is the whole point of this exercise. There's that little checkbox there, and many of you may have never even thought about what it can really do. And that is the main message we're trying to get across today, is now you have this ability to say, give me just those people who are on both lists.
So I went to the Member List Maker merge form by going to Merge, Member List Maker, Merge. I'm going to put in the category that we used for both of our original lists, GRI and NCON. And as I select those two, now we have the box lights up for us. Members must belong to every list code selected. This is exactly where we are referencing in the PowerPoint, as well as what Ted had mentioned.
That's what's going to pull it all together.
Exactly. So once we've checked that, now the only members that are going to show up on our new list, which will answer our original question, who has a GRI and has not contributed for 2011. So we're going to put the category in because we're going to add it to our new list.
Set it to active.
Exactly, so our members can be all active on the list. Hit continue. And it looks like we have 27. So let's take a look.
Wow, as simple as that. So the system did all the comparisons of those two lists for me.
That's right.
Exactly. So we have the GRI, we have the NCON, and now we have GRN, which is GRI and non-contributors for 2011 on this list.
That's right, and this is where we get to delete the 2 temporary lists.
So this is where we'll go into modify mode by using Control M or hitting the modify button. Hit F3, delete our GRI list, as well as hit F3 for NCON. And now we've cleaned house. We only have the list that answers our question.
Wow, that's pretty slick.
Now the last step that we have is run a list maker report using category temp code GRN. So now we want to be able to give this to our GAD, show the results that we've been able to find. So we're going to go to Managers, Membership, List Maker, Member List Report. I'm going to select the category that we used and the new code that we created. I'm going to hit Create the Report. I'm going to redirect this by using the redirect button.
Since we don't want to send it to all of your printers.
Also
Not that we could, but...
Yes on preview, start execution, select the printer, and there you go.
And of course, the report is only one example of what you can do with a merge. Actually, now that you've got this list, you could also use this as a phone bank report and call each one of these people and record the fact that you've called them using the date. You could put in a comment if they happen to have pledged a certain amount. You could use it to run an additional merge, to send out emails or to send out letters. I mean, of course, anything that's in List Maker can be used for any number of purposes.
I concur.
That's right.
So now,
Okay, so in summary, we've set up categories and codes for temporary lists.
now I know what you're talking about. Good old Gary. I'm glad Gary's paying attention.
That's right. The light is on. Okay, and we're going to add members to the list using different merges from different modules in Magic. We're going to combine those lists using List Maker Merge, and we viewed the results using our List Maker report.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say, even before we get to the questions and answers, this is sort of a multi-dimensional thing to get into, and it may, for some of you, seem very straightforward and you'll have no problems with it. For others, it may still seem a little mysterious, or maybe it seems like a lot of work. The fact is, the merges run very quickly, creating the lists is very quick, and after you've done it once or twice, you'll find that within a few minutes, you can actually get the results to something that previously you either had absolutely no way of getting or would have taken you a very long time to find out. And remember, too, that this works across every module that's got a merge in it. So it means you can combine results from education, from events, from contributions, from within membership. You can combine searches from any one of those. And if you were to do it from a database level, if you knew SQL, structured query language, trying to create those queries yourself is a very complex thing. And like many complex tasks, the secret to making them attainable is to break them into pieces that are very easy to match. And that's what this process does. So actually, by first creating the one list from one simple search, then creating the other list, and then combining the results, you're able to get really an endless combination of things from your database, answering questions that previously would have been nearly impossible to find.
That's right, big time saver. All right, so let's take a look at some of the questions you've asked today.
Okay, give us a moment to, Frank, can you slide that over a bit? Okay, well, we have one question saying, can you please email me the slideshow and instructions? And what we'll make sure we do is have a Magic Resource Center article that goes through the steps so that you can follow it, because yes, while once you know how to do it, it's very easy. The first couple of times you may want to have something to reference, so we'll make sure we do that.
As well as they can watch the webinar.
That's right.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Thank you for that reminder. These webinars are always available. We'll have this one online. Of course, this is live right now, but we should have it posted to our website within a day or two, and you can watch it again as many times as you want. Here's a question. Do I have to put the new list into the temp category, the new one that combines the contributors and the non-contributors and the GRIs?
No, actually you do not. You can choose whatever category you would like to use for your new list. And if it's something that you want to use, that you want to keep, like creating the custom field, then that's something you can keep in there.
So you can give it anything you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in other words, you can combine these results and effectively add something new to your database. I want to track all the people who made a contribution. I mean, we have separate systems already to do a lot of these things, like contribution awards. But effectively, you could go through and find the people who contributed over a certain amount, and you could automatically populate a list. Or again, as in our example, find people who contributed more than a certain amount and served on the board of directors and put it on a list. I mean, there is no end to the number of things you could do. Okay, we have a question of never thought about using templates before. Do they take up space in the database? Well, of course, yes, they do take up space. Is that space really a concern in this day and age? No, because you can go and, I don't know what system you have, but chances are it has so much more space than these lists are ever going to take up that you're likely never have to worry about it. I mean, today's systems can easily have a terabyte of data, and you'd have to create a list for every day for the next 20 years before you'd even begin to threaten that amount of space.
Right. You can keep that temp category open, and you can delete the lists as you no longer need them.
That's right. I mean, in fact, if you start using this a lot and you don't get rid of the ones you really don't care about, you'll start having a kind of a housekeeping nightmare. So we definitely encourage you to get rid of them. And of course, another question, is there a limit to the number of lists you can create and keep? Well, again, the only limit would be based on your storage requirements. And in terms of the number of combinations of lists you can create, it's somewhere around 100 billion. It's 6 to the, it's 26 to, or 37 to the 6th, so you can figure that out. But you're not going to run out of codes you can use. You're not going to run out of descriptions. And hey, if you run out of space, you probably haven't gotten rid of enough old codes, or you should just go out and buy more space, because it's just not going to be a problem. Let's see. Is there a way to get comments on one list added to the merged list? Well, that's an interesting question. And no, at the moment there really isn't, because as you're combining these lists and creating a new one, it wouldn't know which list to pull that information from. It's always creating a brand new list. And it's probably very important, again, whenever you name one of these lists, that it reflect what it was created from. Another one, who can I contact at Rapattoni to make sure I'm on the webinar list? Well, you can talk to anybody on support. We do keep a list of people we notify about these, and we send out the announcements regularly. And of course, if it, as we've said earlier, when it comes to understanding how to do this particular procedure, you can just call support and we'll help walk you through it. Okay, I'm looking through the questions, seeing what else we have. Another thing, too, one of the general comments we make about questions is sometimes a question that's asked is not something we can easily answer, or perhaps we want to take more time with you individually. So if we don't answer your question, don't worry, we'll make sure we do get back to you. Okay.
You want to do that one?
Okay, we are still here reading the questions. Okay. Will this work if you have several committees you want to combine? Well, if you think about it, you could, the merges on committees let you select from multiple committees. So you have a lot of power in the different merges and the search capabilities each one has. So, of course, you can include multiple committees. You can also include multiple lists. We did an example with 2 lists, but you can actually have up to 5. Hang on. Let's see. So somebody says, so if I need this information for my GAD every month, the final GRN list doesn't automatically update, right? No, it certainly doesn't. It's not going to, now that you've created this list, the system isn't so smart that it knows that anytime any of those conditions happens again, it should automatically add it in. However, you could keep the list around. You have a choice with, in our example, this GRN list. You could, once you're done with it, throw it away, and the next month just create it again. Or you could keep it, and then the next month run it and see what additional names are added. In this case, I don't think you get any additional names unless you had some new GRIs that come along. But you have the ability to just delete it, start over, or just keep adding to it. Okay. Here's a question. Can you export your list maker reports to Excel? Yes, there is the ability within Magic to actually save any report in a format that is then exportable to Excel. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect common limited file, but it is something you can do. And in fact, it's not, if you think about it too, you can take any list and use it to create a merge, which in effect does create a common limited file. It's got a lot of fields in it because it is one of our merges and there's about 100 plus fields in there. But you could also use that and of course put it into Excel.
Using list maker merge.
Yep, using list maker merge. Okay, I think that's most of the questions. So I hope you have grasped the power that this can give you, and we'll play with it and try it again. It may not seem completely clear at first, but do it a few times, pick an example, even follow our specific example, do it. It's like anything. You do it a couple times, the light bulb will go off, and suddenly you will have a power over your data that you previously didn't have.
Right, and again, you can view these webinars over and over again if you visit our website. So if you want to take a look at past or future webinars, or to register for upcoming webinars, for those of you who didn't get a notice, visit our website at www.rapattoni.com. Look for support, Magic webinars and training videos, and you'll see a list of past webinars as well as a schedule of webinars to come.
Speaking of webinars to come, our next Magic webinar will be held on July 20th. Yes, I know we spoiled you a little bit having a webinar every 2 weeks, but we're going back to our month schedule, and we're going to be touching on adjusting posted payments. I'm sure you've, in the past, may have accidentally posted a wrong payment amount to a member's accounts receivable, or even posted to the wrong member's accounts receivable. We're going to show you how to efficiently correct those unfortunate or oops moments. Thank you. We'll see you July 20th.
That's right. Yep. Thank you all for joining us. And again, use List Maker. It's very powerful, and it'll let you do things with your system you never imagined. So from all of us here at Rapattoni, have a great week until next we join you. And if you think of any questions after this, go ahead and let us know at support, and we will do our best to answer them.
Very good. Thank you.